The biochemistry of stress and relaxation. When a threat is perceived, one hormone is released by an area of the hypothalamus of the brain. It triggers the release of a second from the pituitary gland. The second hormone is delivered to the adrenal glands, which in turn secrete a variety of chemicals that shift the activity of many target organs and tissues into an emergency mode. In this emergency mode, the whole central nervous system is aroused, creating the rush. The sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, is strongly stimulated, while the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and restore, is shut down. General muscle tone increases. Reflexes become hair-triggered or facilitated. Respiration deepens and quickens. Blood lactate levels rise. Blood clotting mechanisms are heightened. Heart rate increases and blood pressure rises. Blood is directed away from internal organs and towards skeletal muscles. The spleen dumps extra blood cells into the bloodstream. Digestion stops, or more accurately, digestion of food in the gut tube stops, and we begin digesting ourselves, converting our more readily available protein stores to glucose to immediately fuel the emergency activity. The kidneys retain water in anticipation of sweating or blood loss. And sensory perception becomes heightened and attention becomes vigilant. When they are a coordinated response to an actual threat, these complex interactions prepare the organism for the extra surge of energy and resources to deal with the situation quickly and effectively, either by fighting or fleeing, and by efficiently dealing with any injuries. When the threatening situation has passed, the body's hormonal chemistry then quickly reverts to normal levels for normal activity. Research on the physiological effects of chronic stress have shown that when these emergency reactions are repeated too frequently or are sustained over long periods of time, they can have devastating consequences. The heightened stimulation eventually causes general exhaustion, and the shunting of blood from internal organs adds to this depletion. Sustained high blood pressure has many destructive effects. The digestion of our own protein stores first strips us of our own reserves, then begins consuming our own flesh. The heightened vigilance over time makes the organism become aggressive and anxious. It exhibits defensive behavior that creates a sense of urgency all its own, thus keeping the physiological machinery in high gear. Acute emotional stress, gastric lesions, tumor growth, wasting away, many kinds of organ dysfunction, and a variety of causes of eventual death have all been documented as a result of these factors. If the hormonal chemistry of danger can do all these temporarily useful things, and when extended chronically can do all of these destructive things over the long run, what about the chemistry of unstress? The relaxation response, due to the calming effects of transcendental meditation, a commonly known and easily learnable practice, have been documented to demonstrate the physiological profile of relaxation, many of which result in a dramatic reversal of all the chemical and physical reactions to temporary stress, and a diminishing of the pathologies that had been set in motion by chronic stress, such as a very different quality of nervous system arousal occurs, characterized by a diffusely focused alertness rather than acute vigilance. Specifically, the brain enters an alpha wave state. Sympathetic nervous system activity diminishes, while the restorative activity of the parasympathetic nervous system are increased. General muscle tone decreases. Reflexes are intact, but not in a hair-trigger state of facilitation. Respiration slows. Heart rate lowers, as does blood pressure. Blood clotting factor returns to normal. There is a drop in blood lactate levels. Blood is directed away from the skeletal muscles and towards the internal organs. Normal digestion of food resumes, replacing rather than depleting the body's protein. Kidneys increase their urine output. And sensory perception normalizes, and attention relaxes its vigilance. One thing that's very important to realize here is that cultivating this state of calm helps make the organism more able, not less, to rally its defense mechanisms against the next threat. Molecules are released from specific sites, circulate in the body's fluid, and make contact with cell membrane receptors in distant tissues and trigger shifts in organs' operation as a response. Like the hormones, the neuropeptides are information molecules, tiny bits of data operating independently of the synaptic circuitry system, basic units of a language with which cells of many kinds talk and listen to each other and mutually understand and coordinate their roles in the life of the vitality of the organism.